After a day off yesterday, the Rays return to action and continue this interleague homestand. Tonight they'll play host to the defending world champion San Francisco Giants in game one of a three-game series. Inside the American League East, the Rays now one full game back of Boston. The Red Sox mounting a come-from-behind victory last night. And in the wild card, the Rays enjoy a four-game advantage now over the Cleveland Indians in the American League. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tropicana Field and an evening of Rays baseball. Dwayne Stats tonight with Todd Kalas. Todd, great to have you with us as well.
Great to be here.
Not only do we get a chance to see the defending world champion San Francisco Giants, Todd, but tonight we get a chance to see the MVP of the National League and the former Florida State standout, Buster Posey.
Yeah, a guy that played his collegiate ball right up the road in Tallahassee. What a career he's having for the Giants. Ever since that devastating injury with the collision at home plate in 2011, he has bounced back, plus some. MVP last year, also the batting title. Went to the World Series, won that, Rookie of the Year in 2010, having another outstanding year for the Giants, calling pitches behind the plate, and tied for the team lead in home runs at this point.
Well, the Rays are coming off a fabulous month of July when they were 21-5. They were led by great pitching, great starting pitching, and among those leaders, the guy going tonight, Chris Archer.
It's hard to imagine him having a better month, maybe in his career, than what he just had in July. Here's a kid in his rookie season that went 4-0 in the month at 5 starts and a 0.73 ERA. He's dominating right-hand hitters. The 2 complete games, you saw the first one there against the Astros, then the one against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium where he went the distance for a shutout. This kid is pitching with more confidence now than ever in his life.
So it will be Chris Archer on the hill tonight for the Rays to open this series against the San Francisco Giants. You know things are going well when your peers speak highly of you. Barry LeBrock will get the reaction of Chris Archer's teammates when we return.
3-game weekend series here at Tropicana Field. Chris Archer taking his warm-up tosses. He will be on the mound tonight for the Rays. You know, Archer is such a unique guy, such a different personality. He's always reading different books. I have an ongoing dialogue with him about that. Recently I said, what are you reading? He said a book called I Am. It's kind of a self-discovery thing. He said he found it in the bookstore, and I asked him why he picked that book, and he said, I didn't pick it. It picked me. Kind of a little insight to the kind of guy that Chris Archer is. Very unique personality and one of the more unique energies on this Rays team.
Amazing. Amazing. The kid got so many good stuff that, you know, making who he is. And to me, that what is more impressive about him, you know, he's so young and he's not afraid to go over there and battle, you know, challenge hitters. And that's, to me, why he's success.
I mean, his energy is fantastic. Every day at the field, you know, it's good. Even when he wasn't throwing the ball like he is right now, he still came to the field with that same energy. You know, he still uses that energy in the dugout. He uses that energy, you know, in the weight room. You know, he works his tail off, and to see somebody like that get the results that, you know, they know and expect that they can have at the professional level, it's, you know, it's good to see.
All right, Chris Archer, what a month it's been. The best July in terms of ERA of any rookie pitcher in baseball history. 0.73. Very, very solid. Counting down to baseball here on Sun Sports to get the weekend started. Rays and Giants coming your way right after this.
Joe Madden and the Rays have their eyes set squarely on an August to remember. First up, the defending World Series champion San Francisco Giants and their 2013 ace Madison Bumgarner sporting a 2.76 ERA. But he'll have to earn his stripes tonight against the live wire right arm of Chris Archer. We're kicking off the final third of the season right now. We welcome you to Tropicana Field where the Rays and the Giants will square off. A look inside the Rays dugout where 24-year-old right-hander Chris Archer prepares to make the start. He'll be opposed by another young pitcher, 24-year-old All-Star Madison Bumgarner, a 10-game winner for the San Francisco Giants this year, after winning 16 a year ago. Chris Archer's last start Saturday against the Yankees in New York. One to remember. A 1-0 victory. He became the first Ray to throw a shutout versus the Yankees in New York. Took 268 games, a 1-0 shutout, a 2-hitter in which he struck out 6, requiring 97 pitches. Let's take a look at tonight's lineup, brought to you by Sweet Bay Supermarket. For San Francisco, Gregor Blanco is going to lead it off, followed by Marco Scutaro. Pablo Sandoval will be the DH and hit third. Buster Posey behind the plate hitting cleanup. Roger Kieschnick in left. Hunter Pence in right. Brandon Belt at first. Brandon Crawford will be the shortstop. He'll hit 8th. Joaquin Arias is the third baseman hitting 9th.
Tonight's starting pitcher brought to you by Coventry Healthcare of Florida. Chris Archer coming off a ridiculously good month of July. We've always loved his stuff. Now he's got the confidence and the poise to go along with it, setting all kinds of records in that month of July. And now he kicks off August against a team he's never faced before. Has been throwing more fastballs and sliders during this good stretch. Does also feature the 2-seamer and the changeup. Here's the defense behind Archer tonight. A team that committed 40 errors in the first 108 games, on pace for a remarkable only 60 errors on the season. Sean Rodriguez gets to start in left field. Desmond Jennings, Will Myers is your outfield. Evan Longoria been playing very solid at the corner, along with Yunel Escobar, great left side of the infield. Ben Zobrist, errorless at second base in his last 60. James Loney, the talented first baseman, and Jose Lobaton will be the catcher tonight for Chris Archer.
That would be the top 3 in Bruce Bochy's lineup: Blanco, Scutaro, and Sandoval. Up close looks here at the San Francisco top 3 in the order. The Giants have struggled. They're running 5th in the National League West. 10 games back. They've won their last 2, but come into this game 48-59. That after an unbelievable season for them a year ago. There's Bruce Bochy, the skipper of the San Francisco Ball Club. And here's Gregor Blanco set for the first pitch of this game. First pitch presented by Pinch a Penny. It's a fastball in there for a strike from Chris Archer. Fouled back. A couple of fastballs to start tonight's game against San Francisco. Two-time manager of the year Joe Madden looking on. It's 1-2. Rays relished the off day yesterday, both from a physical and mental side, after dividing that 2-game set against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Soft little looping liner caught by Escobar. Blanco is out number 1 here in the top of the first.
It's not just that Archer's been throwing strikes. He's been throwing quality strikes. He gets ahead of Gregor Blanco there 0-2 on a couple of fastballs, and that slider has been such a good weapon for him during this great month of July. It gets it in on his fist, and Blanco couldn't do anything with it.
He's done a great job of that, something that about a month ago Joe Madden talked with him about using more often. Well, he has done exactly that with stunning results. There's Marco Scutaro. Fastball nice and easy at 95 for Chris Archer. Now 1-1. Offense has been an issue for the Giants. In fact, they've scored 3 or fewer runs in 9 of their last 11 games.
Yeah,
and interesting, Todd, if you look at their winning teams right back to the mound. Scutaro's out of there with a toss. 2010, a championship year for them. Last year, that 2010 team built primarily on pitching. Last year, it was offense that got the job done for Bruce Bochy.
Yeah, they manufactured runs last year without the long ball. They don't hit a lot of home runs, haven't this year, didn't last year. But this year, that offense has been missing at times, as you mentioned. They score 4 runs, they're in pretty good shape. But they don't get to 4 runs as often as they would like.
Pablo Sandoval now. He's DHing. A big cut to miss. Challenged him with the fastball up and threw it right by him.
Rays fans don't get a chance to see this guy very much because he's in the other league and he's on the West Coast, but he is a fun player to watch. He will take those kind of hacks all night long. He does not get cheated with any of his swings.
A big cut right there. So 2 fastballs and 2 big swings here by Sandoval.
You can see that getting up over the hands of Sandoval, who's telling himself to stay back. That is just power on power right there. It's fun to watch.
Tries to go up again, and it's fouled away. That one a couple more ticks on the fastball at 97.
Yeah, and they've got, I mean, Archer's got that fastball that's been averaging about 95 this year. When he wants to, he can go 96, 97. Now, it's surprising Sandoval got to that pitch. That was elevated. Now he's got him guessing. He could go down and bury something here to get him.
And he pops him up. Archer's after that one, but it'll be picked up by Longoria, who throws him out. 1, 2, 3. Archer all over the infield. Bottom of the first coming, no score. Let's take a quick look at the lineup brought to you by Sweet Face Supermarket. Desmond Jennings, whom you saw just a second ago there, up close and personal, is going to lead it off. Then Ben Zobrist and Evan Longoria. Will Myers, Sean Rodriguez, and Yunel Escobar in the middle of Joe Maddon's lineup, followed by James Loney, then Jose Lobaton and Ryan Roberts, the DH.
Tonight's starting pitcher for the Giants, presented by Coventry Healthcare of Florida. Their best pitcher on the year, the 24-year-old, had a birthday yesterday, Madison Bumgarner. You see his numbers on the year, very impressive, 10-6 with a 2.76 ERA. Opponents hitting just 190 against him, third best amongst major league starters. A lot of sliders, so mixing the 4-seam and 2-seam fastball and the changeup to lefties, and he'll throw a curve to both the righties and the lefties. But his slider percentage is higher than any other starter in the big leagues this year and last year. So expect to see that pitch a lot tonight against a team that has never faced him.
Well, Desmond Jennings gets his first look at Bumgarner. And it's down and in. And bounds away from Posey. Started him with the fastball around 92. Bumgarner has been pitching deep into games, and as that opponent's average you cited, Todd, would indicate, very stingy with hits and runs lately.
He is exceptionally tough against lefties. It's not like righties hit him very well either.
Yeah, they're hitting 200 right-handers.
How about that?
And that's the tough part for Bumgarner. That's a strike, 2-1.
You talked about the easy delivery with Archer. This guy's got a very fluid, easy delivery, and it comes at you kind of that lower left arm angle. That's what makes him so tough on lefties. The Rays only have one lefty, James Loney, in the lineup tonight.
Jennings misses the pitch up. 2-2. Slider, a big pitch, and he'll get a little natural cut to his pitches as well. And he strikes out Jennings.
Take a look at the defense behind Madison Bumgarner tonight. Roger Kieschnick making just his second big league start in left field. Gregor Blanco is in center. Hunter Pence has started every game. Number 108 for the Giants. He's in right. Joaquin Arias, Brandon Crawford, Marco Scudero, Brandon Belt getting a start at first, and Buster Posey making his 83rd start as a catcher this year, 97th overall. Madison Bumgarner on the mound.
And Ben Zobrist becomes the hitter. The only hitter in this lineup to have hit against Bumgarner in his career is James Loney from his time in the National League, and he is 2 for 10. There's a liner the other way. Well done on the fastball. Zobrist lines it into right. Hunter Pence returns it to the infield.
One thing that Ben does really well with elevated pitches away from him, he doesn't try and go out and pull them. He's able to just put a nice swing on it and go to right field. We see him do this a lot when he's hitting well. Lets the ball travel, doesn't try and pull the ball where you're probably going to roll over it, but just hits a nice solid line drive to right.
And he's been consistent over the last 3 weeks or so. He's hitting around 340 now in that stretch. So with Zobrist hot and Evan Longoria due to get hot at any moment, you would think would be good for the Rays here in August. Evan hitting 272. A ball, no strikes to him. He came out of July. The Rays had that great month of July. They were 21-5, and Longoria hit 194 for the month.
Unbelievable. It's hard to imagine someone that important in your lineup can have that kind of a month where your team just goes on that kind of a run.
And he had an 11-game hitting streak in that month as well, and still hit under 200.
One of the oddest hitting streaks you ever see, with multiple strikeout games sprinkled in there a bunch, and it's just one of those stretches where Evan just has not been comfortable.
Well, you know, it's just a matter of time. Number one, because he's that talented, and number two, he's that conscientious.
Well, that's right there, a 2-0 pitch that usually he feasts on when he gets a fastball in the zone, and he's just still searching for it right now. He's been watching a lot of videos going back to when things were going well for him and trying to find that comfort zone again at the plate.
And spending time with Derek Shelton and Joe Madden. Lifts it into center. Blanco keeping his eye on the ball against the ceiling here. 2 outs, and Zobrist still at first.
Yeah, Bumgarner last year was a guy you could run on. This year he's kind of taken it to a different level. Last year 27 steals against him, but this year he's kind of cut down a little bit with his step out of the stretch, and all of a sudden he's taken those numbers way down. I believe only 6 steals this year on him.
Yeah, and not that many attempts compared to last year. He had 5 pickoffs last year. 27 steals, but 5 pickoffs.
Lefties can be deceptive, but he is such a big guy, and last year it took him a little longer to unfurl even out of the stretch, and this year and in spring training they worked on him getting a little quicker.
Will Myers takes a look at the first pitch, and that's in there for a strike.
Will said he never played with Bumgarner because they were just a couple years apart. But some of Bumgarner's high school teammates that came through a year or two later, Will played with in North Carolina. About 100 miles apart, Thomasville, where Will's from, and Hudson, North Carolina, where Bumgarner's from.
Yeah, and Archer's from that same neck of the woods, as they might say out there.
Good, talented baseball players coming through.
Upstairs to Myers. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And I think Will's really looking forward to the challenge tonight because this was the stud. Bumgarner was the stud in high school when Will was just becoming a star in high school. So while Will never faced him, this is his first chance. So he's like, all right, this was the guy I kind of looked up to a little bit.
Ground ball, third base. Arias gloves and throws. The Rays are out in the first with a base hit. The man left. We go to the second inning. No score with Buster Posey set to lead off. And the defending world champion San Francisco Giants squared off. And there's Buster Posey, 26-year-old catcher, our Toyota trend. Only catcher in Major League history to win two titles along with a batting title and an MVP award. One of only 6 catchers with 2 World Series titles and that MVP award. So at the tender age of just 26, we've got a great list of accomplishments already. First pitch is a ball. Fastball missing. 1-0. Posey, Kishnick, and then Pence due up against Archer.
Posey obviously plays the Marlins on a regular basis down in Miami, but he hasn't been near his campus like this since he left Florida State. Tallahassee obviously closer to the Tampa Bay region than Miami, and I'm seeing garnet and gold sprinkled out and around through Tropicana Field here.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was really something up there. Played shortstop. They turned him into a catcher. He also pitched. And Archer walks him on 4 consecutive pitches. So Posey is aboard. And our AT&T social media poll is we look at that, tweet your votes to at Sunsports Rays. Who's the best catcher in baseball? Buster Posey, Yadier Molina, Joe Mauer, Matt Wieters, or if you have somebody else in mind, that would be hashtag TB5. Roger Kieschnick takes the pitch. It's a strike. See Kieschnick 3 for 6. And all 3 of those hits have come with men in scoring position in just 2 games. It's 1-1.
Made his debut on Wednesday. A couple of hits in that game. Then a big hit last night as the Giants rallied down 1-0 in the 9th in Philadelphia.
Yeah, they scored 2 in the 9th against Jonathan Papelbon. Finished with a 2-1 win. 1-2 now.
That was a wild game. Romo had the bases loaded, nobody out in the bottom half of the inning, and pitched through it.
Since the middle of May, they've gone 25 and 44. It's been a tough stretch for San Francisco. 2-2 to Kieschnick.
It's been one of those years for Bruce Bochy where if things can go wrong, they have gone wrong. Their defense has been shaky, to say the least. They're right near the top in the number of errors. Their pitching has been better, especially since the All-Star break, but their offense just hasn't been as consistent as they would like.
Oh, he just missed right there with a slider. Pretty close pitch to Kieschnick, and the count is full.
See where this pitch ends up. He tries to break it over the outside part of the plate, and it does stay off the plate.
Talking about Bochy, not only last year was a special year because they really had their backs to the wall and came out and won the World Series, but in 18 years, either with the Padres or the Giants, he's won 6 division titles.
Amazing. His managerial career has been phenomenal.
Runner goes, swing and a miss, throw down, they're going to get him. He is out at second base. Posey caught trying to steal as Kieschnick swung through the pitch. A 3-2 slider by Archer, and they throw out Posey.
Interesting, they elected not to run Posey on the previous 3-2 pitch. This time they elect to run him. 2 good things happened there. Obviously the throw's on the money, but that was a foul tip, and it's not easy to catch a foul tip cleanly and make that transfer like Jose Lobaton did to get the runner. That was a very nice play by the Rays catcher.
So the bases are empty, and here's Hunter Pence. It's too low. So nice job by Lobaton as Archer came back to strike out Posey. Cut and a miss. Boy, that had some action on it. That slider. Pence missed it by plenty. He was trying to cheat a little bit, looking for the hard stuff.
It's to be very interesting to watch both teams go through the lineup the first time because everybody's trying to figure these pitchers out.
Foul ball off the fastball there.
And Hunter's a guy that can make adjustments. So based on that swing on the slider the first time, I don't see why the Rays wouldn't go back to it here and go for the strikeout.
Pence active in the batter's box, chokes up on the bat. Fouls a fastball at 97. He's been in there every day for the Giants. Came over from the Phillies as a part of a big deal push last year and wound up hitting only .219. A line drive sinking, caught by Escobar to retire the side. They lined the slider to the Rays shortstop. We are scoreless. Sun Sports, brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Coventry Healthcare, coverage so you can keep living the life you want. Go live. We've got you covered. Rays home tonight at Tropicana Field against the San Francisco Giants. Sean Rodriguez to lead off against Madison Bumgarner. Sean getting another start with a left-hander on the mound. Rays facing left-handers back-to-back with the day off in between. A little trouble with Wade Miley in that final game of the Arizona set. Now face a tough lefty in Bumgarner. Three balls, no strikes.
Not sure if Bumgarner is entirely comfortable yet in this game. After the first two hitters, he went 2-0 on Evan Longoria, 2-0 on Will Myers. He's got good enough stuff. He was able to battle back in both those cases. Now 3-0 on Sean Rodriguez.
And he walks him on 4 pitches. The Rays have the leadoff man on here in the second inning.
The shortstop, number 11.
Yeah, Bumgarner's interesting when you look at his season so far. The deeper into the at-bat he gets, the better he is. He's lethal 0-2 and 1-2. Opponents hitting only 111 and 171 against him down at the count. But even 3-2 when essentially all bets could be off. The opposition hitting only 185 against him. Escobar takes a strike early in the count. A little different first pitch, aggressive lineups. First pitch 293 and 0-1. The opposition's hitting over 400 against him.
Yeah,
just can't make sense of that one.
No, that doesn't make sense at all. Maybe Escobar's in the right count right now.
Shows the butt. That's a strike. Puts him down 0-2.
Like Uni was thinking about pushing one up the right side with Rodriguez being held at first, and he thought it was going to be too low and took it, and ended up being over the plate and high enough for a strike.
Now the swing from 0-1 to 0-2, where Escobar is now, 405 to 111.
You know how talented, as you look at James Loney, the only lefty in the Rays lineup on deck, how talented Escobar is. Today he got in the cage, and just for fun, Davey Martinez said, why don't you swing left-handed? Third time he swung left-handed, he hit one of the seats in right field. It's unbelievable, the talent this guy has.
Cut to miss. That slider. Good action on that one, down and in.
We mentioned Bumgarner throws more sliders than any starter in baseball has in the last 2 years, and you can see that ball diving down and also good bite to it across the plate. And that's why he is so good when he gets ahead of the count, as Dwayne chronicled.
That became a big pitch for him a couple years ago, 2010, in the minor leagues. And what a difference that's made for him. Horatio Ramirez, who was a starting pitcher in their rotation, had a lot to do with that. And the pitching coach down there, who's still their AAA pitching coach, Pat Rice. Rice spent some time pitching in the late 80s and early 90s in the Seattle organization. And Bumgarner in 2010 got off to a 7-1 start at AAA and wound up in the big leagues and made 18 starts for the Giants that year.
Pat Snag. And a little girl with the baseball. Hopefully she doesn't throw it back. That was a bullet. I don't even think that gentleman left his seat. He made a great catch. Oh, don't throw it.
She's getting ready.
Oh, no.
Yes, Poppy, let me throw it. Probably not.
I like when people that bring gloves can make plays like that defensively. Bring a glove and you're in the front row. You got to be ready for line drives, and he was.
Hey, if you're going to be in the front row, you should bring a glove.
Because of that reason.
Yeah.
Especially with a little girl like that sitting next to you.
Yeah. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Loney.
No, you would think Bumgarner would throw a higher percentage of sliders against lefties, but he really mixes it up pretty much equally, lefties or righties. He doesn't face many lefties, pretty much the elite lefties in each lineup, but he uses that weapon to both sides, both hitters.
Well, Loney is about as elite as you're going to get, lefty on lefty for the Rays, and 7th in the league right now against left-handed pitching at .333.
And you mentioned Loney has a little bit of a comfort zone having seen him in the National League, so this isn't like the other guys who are trying to figure out his arm slot and his arm angle and whether they can pick the ball up for the first time.
Rodriguez is on the move, and the pitch is pop foul back over the screen, so the Rays sending Rodriguez there.
Joe Maddon thought before the game that this was going to be a very low-scoring game just based on what Bumgarner's done this year and how Archer has been stellar in the month of July. Similar to the Nova matchup at Yankee Stadium, which was a 1-0 game. Joe really feels like a run early could be precious in this one.
Well, Bumgarner 9th in the National League in ERA, and Archer with the best earned run average among rookies in the American League at .239. Loney out on strikes. He threw him a curveball that time, and occasionally you'll see that maybe 10-12% of the time. You're mindful of that slider or the fastball. Here comes a curve.
He does get a lot of swings and misses with that curve lefty on lefty. That's a key pitch for him going for a strikeout. It's interesting to watch the back and forth with these two managers because Bruce Bochy had Posey stay on the 3-2 pitch the first time. Then he ran the second time, was thrown out. Joe had Sean Rodriguez run on the pitch previous to that foul ball, and then he doesn't have him run on that pitch, and he strikes out. Would have probably been a double play.
Sean's going, and a move to first by Bumgarner, throw down to second, and that takes care of Rodriguez. So he's caught stealing. We're scoreless through 2.
The third, Chris Archer on the mound for the Rays, taking on Madison Bumgarner and the Giants. You know, for Archer, it doesn't take long once you're talking to him to realize that he's a different kind of cat, quite an intellectual guy. And under the headline of "It Takes One to Know One," his own manager, Joe Maddon, spoke on Archer's mental makeup.
I would describe Archie as being a little different in a good way. Educated, more academically oriented in his approach. Almost like a football approach to baseball in a sense, because of his willingness to adapt and accept the sports psychology portion of all of this. He's had some good mentors, but a lot of it's self-taught with this kid because he seeks answers all the time. He's a reader.
He is a reader. I talked to Chris a couple of weeks ago. He told me his latest book was called I Am. I asked him about it. He said, well, it's just a journey to find out who you really are.
Brandon Belt goes after the first pitch, shoots it into left center, and a nice job of cutting it off out there to hold him to a base hit, and actually a little bit of a play on the throw back into first. Nice job by the Rays outfield there.
Really was. That ball was slicing a little bit to help Sean out, but he busted it to get over there. Watch how far he has to go. Off the bat, this looks like it's got a chance to go to the wall, and a nice sliding diving stop, or else that's a double easily. And watch Uni with that strong arm as Belt was just kind of easing into first base. Whoa.
You know, you've got to give Sean Rodriguez a lot of credit. That's not the first time we've seen him busted like that in the outfield. All things being equal, he'd probably love to be playing second base or third base, shortstop, someplace on the infield. But he's taken to this role and understands it makes him more valuable if he can play the outfield as well, and to play it that hard as we've seen him do on a number of occasions. It's kudos for him.
And he's got good break speed too. He gets good jumps on balls. There's a lot of left fielders that ball goes to the wall where he was playing.
It's down to Brandon Crawford. Count is a ball and a strike.
Barry was talking about the different approach for Chris Archer. He was telling us in Boston about his visualization and meditation techniques that he uses before each start, how he envisions himself on the mound as a third person looking at himself pitching. And then he says, and then I go into the first person where I can see myself on the mound in that ballpark pitching. He's throwing out concepts that a lot of baseball players are probably not real comfortable with.
You know, it makes a lot of sense, and you go back. I know you remember Sid Thrift.
Oh yeah.
When he was with the Pirates back then, he spent some time with the Cubs and briefly here with the Rays. But back in those days with the Pirates, he was talking about that. Loney, a nice throw down to second. They'll get the force on the toss to Escobar. He talked about the visualization concept. And that's what Archer's talking about, and he's certainly using it to his advantage.
Nice play by Loney here. The Giants are going to learn quickly that this is not your typical AL team. This is a different kind of NL style team. But you're right. Visualization has been part of the game for a while, but not many players understand what it's about. But yeah. Sid was one of the pioneers in that department.
He absolutely was. I remember sitting down in the dugout in Pittsburgh, and he explained the whole concept to me one time.
That must have been a long discussion.
It was, because it took him a little while with each word.
He was great.
He would emphasize in a drawl to make his point. The pitch is high to Joaquin Arias, but it's great to see Archer, and we've heard Barry talk about it, Joe Madden talk about the fact that Archer is a studious young man, and in many ways self-made in that way. Pitch over for a strike.
He absorbs as much knowledge as he can. He's always looking for answers. He's always trying to figure things out. And he has incredible discussions with a lot of different people on this team. He just is one of those guys that wants to know more about the world than most.
This one to the backstop, and Crawford's going to move into second base. On that fastball, it was up, way up there. And a wild pitch charge to Archer, his 6th wild pitch of the year.
He might have been visualizing Bull Durham on that approach, because this one was way up in the air, right to the backstop, almost hit the glass, just hit the padding right below the glass. That was a wild one.
Yeah, the only catcher that might have had a chance would have been Matt Wieters, maybe, because he was tall enough to begin with.
Right.
to get up there.
Watch this one come right into and below your screen.
2-1 to Arias. Chopped by the mound is Zobrist. 2 gone with Crawford taking third. We'll go back around to the top of the order.
But there is just what I was talking about earlier about the National League style that the Rays play. Some National League teams think that the American League style of baseball is not quite as geared up to small ball or fundamentally sound ball that is more about, you know, designated hitters and waiting to hit home runs and all that. The Rays play such a different style of game than a lot of American League teams. You saw Brandon Belt almost not get back in time to first base. You saw Loney take the chance on the throw to second. These are plays that the Giants are used to seeing in their league, but not necessarily expecting it from the AL.
Yeah, it's an aggressive style of baseball. Blanco fouls back the fastball, strike one. And it's one of the reasons why I truly believe that the Rays are the most entertaining team in baseball. And a lot of it has to do with the style of play. Now, they've exceeded, I think, what a lot of people thought they could do. Every year it seems that way, and that makes them entertaining just in and of itself. But the style of baseball is a great style, an entertaining style. 2. You know, you go back through the history of the game in different eras. There are teams that seem to lead the charge in that regard. We go all the way back to the Cardinals as the Gas House Gang, and every decade or so there are teams that stand out as entertaining and aggressive teams. And the Rays have been that way in their own way, I think, over the last 5+ years. I thought the Angels used to be that way in the American League. And I think the Rays have surpassed them in terms of not only wins, but entertainment value. Shot to center. Jennings on the run, and he's there to make that catch. Rays can cover the outfield, and Jennings, a nice job right there. Bottom of the third coming, no score. Score, the Rays and the Giants. Reminder, tonight's game available in Spanish via SAP, brought to you by Coventry Healthcare of Florida. Smile.
I like that. TBT party deck, Dwayne. That's usually where I am on a Friday.
I know. In fact, having you up here, I was expecting maybe a bachelorette party could break out at any time.
You never know. We're still early in the game.
Well, and Todd will be here all weekend, folks. Tip your waiters and waitresses. Lobatone with a base hit up the right field line. He'll go for 2 and make it. Pence plays the carom. Jose Lobaton jumping on a first pitch fastball, picks up his 10th double of the year.
Well, you notice Lobaton going with the high stirrups tonight with his buddy Chris Archer pitching with those stripes, and the high stirrups work for him. He's been struggling at the plate, and that time he took a fastball in the outer half and hit it nicely down the right field line.
Yeah, it's nice to see that move for solidarity on the part of Lobaton with Archer. That's a catcher taking care of his pitcher right there.
He's not going full stripes, but he's at least showing the stirrups, which is good.
Well, he'll show the stirrups and then defer to his pitcher, as a good catcher will.
There you go.
Roberts with a chance to put the Rays out in front. He bunts down the third base side. Glove by Arias. Throw to first. Safe. The call. Joe West says Belt came off the bag. And the Rays are going to have men at first and third. And Bruce Bochy will come out of the dugout to talk that one over with Joe West.
Brandon Belt couldn't believe the call. He was coming off the bag. It looked like to make a play across the diamond in case Lobaton rounded the bag. I thought Roberts' bunt might have gone foul too. Arias fielded it as it was heading towards foul territory after it came off the grass, and Joe West said he clearly saw Belt off the bag. Here's another look. Watch where this ball starts to tail. Yeah, that might have gone foul, but the play is made. Oh, he's out. No doubt about it. I don't know what Joe West saw there. That ball was probably going to go foul, but look at this. He's on the bag. I don't know what Joe West was looking at.
Yeah, two things right there. It should have been a foul ball to begin with if Arias doesn't play it. And Roberts should have been out at first. Instead, he gets a bunt single.
I mean, Belt came off the bag, but not until after he caught the ball. You see guys do that all the time at first base with a runner across the way. So the Rays get a huge break on that call.
Now the top of the order, Desmond Jennings, first and third with nobody out, and Giants would trade a double play ball for a run right here. Broken bat foul ball.
Told you how precious runs were going to be in this game. Bumgarner against Archer. You see Joe Madden playing small ball early in this game, trying to send Sean Rodriguez. He ended up getting picked off, and now leadoff runner on second, bunting him to third base there.
Yeah, that pickoff, the fourth of the year for Bumgarner after collecting 5 last year. Desmond with a chance to give the Rays the lead. And a little number, that's a foul ball. He better field it because that one might roll back fair.
That had some English on it. It looked like it may be heading back towards the line, and Arias made sure he picked it up before it did that. Watch this. This has some kind of cue English on it, and Arias initially said, all right, once it's foul, but it almost came back. Right there, it looks like it's staying foul, and then all of a sudden, starts to creep towards the line.
Yeah, it starts to roll back toward the line. Yeah, you can't take anything for granted along a foul line like that. An 0-2 count. And Jennings chases a fastball up and is out on strikes for the second time tonight.
Bumgarner usually lives around 90, 91, but he can pump it up to 92, 93, even 94 to Evan Longoria earlier, and that's just blazing heat on top of the swing of Desmond Jennings down on the count. Not able to catch up with it. I mean, speaking of runs being at a premium, that previous half inning, the Rays did a great job of stopping the Giants from an extra 90 feet. Sean Rodriguez turning a double into a single. James Loney going to second base instead of taking the easy play at first. And then the, very underappreciated Desmond Jennings route center field on a ball that was really hit well.
Vin Zobrist. And he shoots one through the right side for a base hit. Lobaton scores, and the Rays take the lead. Roberts to second on the RBI base hit for Zobrist, who continues to be red hot. That's his 52nd run batted in. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay.
This pitch is pretty much where Bumgarner wants it, and Buster Posey tried to get in on Zobrist, who just kind of fought it off. You can see him bring his hands in there and fight it off to right field. First time up, extended on a ball away from him and hit a ball into right field. That time just a ball bearing in on him, was able to get the hands through. Nice piece of hitting by Zobrist.
Here's Evan. Rays had 3 hits and a run in the inning. Pitch a breaking ball, curveball, started wide and missed. 1-0. Fastball is a strike. Red Sox have a 4-2 lead at the end of 2 at Fenway on the Diamondbacks. Goldschmidt hit a first inning home run. Ortiz hit one for the Red Sox. And the Diamondbacks hitting in the top of the 3rd now, down 4-2. 1-2 the count to Longoria.
There's one of those sequences we've been talking about where he's 1-0, takes a pitch for a strike, and then this pitch is probably a little away. You see it just outside the box there and swings through that.
And he takes that pitch. That didn't miss by much.
That was a good pitch. I think the Rays have caught a couple breaks this inning. That could have been a strikeout. And earlier Roberts was out at first but called safe. Up in the zone, and that's what they call high pitch, says Andy Fletcher, but Fox Tracks liked it.
Two now to Evan. Way up with the fastball. The count will go to 3-2.
Joe has been aggressive tonight on the bases, but I don't think he's going to send the runners here just because even though Evan's a righty hitter, it makes it tougher for Posey to throw to third. It's just too many strikeouts lately for Evan, and he wants to make sure he can get contact here and avoid getting a strike him out, throw him out to end the inning.
Rays with a run to snap Bumgarner's scoreless streak at 16 innings. A turn and a belated throw and an acrobatic reception there by Scutaro.
Roberts was caught on the move.
Yes, he was.
And fortunately for the Rays, nobody was there to take the throw, so Bumgarner had to wait a split second. There he goes. Whoop. And then by the time Scutaro got there, Ryan was able to get back.
Full count to Longoria. And Evans strikes out. Slider got him. That's the 4th strikeout for Bumgarner and the 2nd out of the inning.
Low slider. That's usually a pitch when Evans going well. He won't chase. He'll take that for ball 4. You could see him after the strikeout just kind of look up to the top of Tropicana Field right here because this is one of those times in the season. Everybody goes through it. We're not used to seeing it from Evan, but he'll eventually come out of it. Just right now, it's not been as comfortable at the plate as he would like it.
So with a run home, Will Myers will bat. Carries his 12-game hitting streak to the plate. Upstairs. right now hitting .329. Arizona scored another run, and now it's 4-3 Boston. Cody Ross with an RBI single, driving in Martin Prado. Diamondbacks continue to hit in the third, now down by 1. Myers ahead in the count. 2-0 off speed. That might have been the first changeup we've seen tonight from Bumgarner. Ryan Roberts at second, Ben Zobrist at first, and Myers checks on the slider, and he's ahead in the count, 3-0. Since the All-Star game, Will Myers has out-hit everybody. Hitting .447 coming into this game. 17 out of 38 since the All-Star break. And ball 4. So the Rays will have the bases loaded with a run home already. 2 outs, and Sean Rodriguez coming to the plate.
One thing Joe Maddon said he'd like to see his team improve on a little bit from what he's seen recently is not chasing pitches out of the zone, especially with runners in scoring position. And that's one area where Sean Rodriguez has really improved this year. He's a guy in the past with a no swing percentage, the amount of pitches he swings outside the strike zone of about 30-31% for the last 4 years. This year he's down to 22% in terms of chasing pitches out of the zone. So he walked on 4 pitches last time. See if he can put together a quality at bat here with the bases full.
Sean walked on 4 straight pitches. He goes after the first one, got a fastball and pops it up. Pretty good pitch to hit right there, and Scutaro makes the catch. Rays will leave him loaded. Rays get a run on the RBI single by Zobrist, and they lead 1-0. Tropicana Field. We're ready to take a look at our Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile. Chris Archer has gone the extra mile and then some as we check his last 5 starts when we go back to Houston. You can see the totals right there. 6 innings, 2 runs, 2 scoreless outings, then 1 earned run in 7 against Toronto and nothing against the Yankees, and that 1-0 win his last time out against New York at Yankee Stadium. Marco Scutaro Takes a breaking ball, the slider in there to start him here in the 4th inning. Scutaro, Sandoval, and Posey due up. One count. Giants on a 6-game road trip. Fastball in on Scutaro. They won their last 2, but overall they've lost 8 of 11. 23 out of their last 33. Liner into right. Will Myers makes the catch. So that's the first out in the 4th. Back by popular demand that Joe Nome makes his return to the Trop tomorrow night when the Rays take on the Giants. This will be your last chance to get your hands on the hottest item of the season. Joe Nome presented by Sun Sports and available to the first 10,000 fans coming to the ballpark tomorrow. Visit RaysBaseball.com. Sandoval takes the first pitch. That's a strike.
I like that Stu Sternberg told us that he had 3 Joe Nomes in his cart. One wasn't enough. By the way, Kung Fu Panda fans on hand tonight.
You know, the other thing I learned about Sandoval tonight, I'm not sure that I knew, that he was a natural left-hander. And when he was about 8 or 9 years old, he wanted to catch. And so he just made himself throw right-handed because he wanted to catch.
How about that? Looks like a catcher. He has dropped some weight this year, though. They said he dropped about 20 pounds right before the All-Star break. That's not easy in season to drop that kind of weight.
It's tough to lose weight in San Francisco anytime. High popper to the left side. And Longoria makes the catch. 2 up and 2 down in the 4th inning.
Chris Archer's a great study in a guy who has phenomenal stuff and now is getting the mental part to connect with the physical part. I mean, he had never gone, Dwayne, 8 innings ever.
Yep. How about that?
Until recent weeks. And now he's just so pitch efficient. He's pitching with so much confidence. It's a lot of fun to watch just this escalated maturation process with Archer.
Posey takes a slider and that misses. Well, Archer was very careful with Posey in the 2nd inning and walked him. Starts him with a slider here in the 4th. Comes back with 1 and picks up the strike zone. So I guess in the scouting reports, Posey is the guy, Chris, you don't want to let beat you.
And especially when you have a young man behind him on deck who's still figuring out things himself in the major leagues.
Fastball, a couple of sliders, and then here's 95. 1 and 2.
Watch this pitch in on the hands. He's done a good job. Great tailing action on that fastball. You could just see a good shot of it there.
And he comes back with 97 and strikes him out. Boy, that was an easy 97. 1, 2, 3 go the Giants. 1-0 Rays. bottom of the 4th inning. Excitable crowd here tonight to see the Rays take on the defending world champion San Francisco Giants. And in the game tonight and all season, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. A lot of action going on down that left field line.
I'll tell you what, this homestand's been fun, Dwayne. The Tuesday night crowd was bigger than most Tuesdays we see, over 17,000. The Wednesday night crowd with the $2 tickets for the kids was a really nice crowd, 25.
Yeah, they're thinking about doing that again, I think.
I know, and tonight's a good crowd for a Friday. I mean, Saturdays and Sundays have been good this year. Fridays have been a little bit less, and tonight's a pretty good crowd.
Escobar takes a curveball for a ball.
Team goes on that road trip, does what they do, and the fans have responded. I like it.
Loney next, and then Lobaton. Escobar ahead in the count. Baltimore's added a run. They lead Seattle 5-3 in the bottom of the 3rd at Baltimore. Chris Davis, number 40. That gives him 101 runs batted in. 2-1.
It started here.
Yes, it did. Well, we saw that for sure.
And it hasn't slowed down much. I mean, he was on a ridiculous pace after that first series against the Rays. And he's kept it going.
Two and two.
Kind of with you, though, I appreciate his comments about what he considers the home run record to be.
Love that. Absolutely love that. It's Roger Maris in 1961.
Kind of fitting with the Giants in town.
And remember, there was a controversy about what they did with Maris when he hit 61.
Right.
Ford Frick put the asterisk.
Asterisk because 162 games.
Yeah, he broke Bruce's record in a 154 game schedule. Well,
there could be a lot of asterisks.
Yeah, that's
at
right.
this point.
Yeah, there could be almost as many of those as records in the last few years. And Chris Davis is right on the money about that. Full count. And I think the most poignant thing he said about that is that he was fired up as a 12-year-old kid when all of that was going on, and he realized that they cheated. Well, this game's all about 12-year-old kids. So let's recognize the guys who really did it, and not the guys who cheated to get an advantage.
And 40 right now, Baltimore's playing their 110th game, so they're a little bit beyond the 2/3 point, but that's almost a pace for 60, a little bit less. Could get interesting.
Yeah, those guys don't want to see cheaters. They want to see baseball heroes. Shot in and out of the glove of Bumgarner. He'll slide to make the pickup, and the throw gets beneath Felt. And his first baseman, Smith, Escobar, is safely aboard. That was a shot right back to the mound.
Almost a tremendous play by Bumgarner. I mean, that was in and out of his glove. And then to go down to the knee and make a throw that bounced. If Belt comes up with that on the short hop, I think they get Escobar. That was a really nice play. See, in and out of his glove, and then the throw's just in the dirt. Yeah, it would have been there in time, Dwayne, I think.
So Escobar gets a hit out of that. The Rays have 5 hits. They've thrown a couple walks. Bumgarner with 5 strikeouts tonight. And the Rays have the 1 run. Loney caught looking in the 2nd inning. Slider outside, 1-0. Rays 21-5 in the month of July. And they're 10-2 in interleague play. Fastball by Loney, 1-1.
Bumgarner's been behind in a fair amount of counts tonight, probably more than we expected, but he's got such great equalizers. He's got that good riding fastball and that devastating slider. He can get down in the count, and as you mentioned early in this game, able to battle back in long at-bats and get better as they go along.
Ninth in the National League in ERA, ninth in strikeouts.
I was laughing because Escobar getting back to first just then, just for no reason, just grabbed Joe West's belly. Joe didn't really react too well to that.
Got a little familiar there, didn't he?
He did.
2 balls and a strike.
Joe Madden calls Escobar El Nino because he has so much fun with the game, and that's just another little area of the game where most guys would not do that, going back to first base.
Foul out of play. That'll even the count at 2-2. Madison Bumgarner, the All-Star team this year, selected by his manager Bruce Bochy. Two now to Loney. And to right field. Pence in his tracks. So that's the first out. Time now for our Just for Men mustache and beard play like a champ profile. Most wins before turning 24 by active pitchers. Bumgarner's on that list. Boy, what a list it is. King Felix leading the charge with 58. And we remember CC Sabathia's start to his career had 49 wins. Marcelo Kershaw and Bumgarner. Overtone fouls it back. Speaking of Kershaw, the Rays will be seeing the Dodgers on their next road trip. The Dodgers have a 3.5 game lead coming into play today in the National League West over Arizona, and they've beaten the Cubs 6-2 for their 12th consecutive road win.
Wow.
How about that? They went 12 straight on the road. Lobatone fouls it. He's behind. 2 strikes.
As unbelievably well as the Rays have played in the last month, the Dodgers have been step for step with the Rays for the last 3-4 weeks.
Yep. Well, that gives them in the most recent 9 out of 11 overall. 12 straight on the road.
It's going to be a fun series out there.
It's got a chance to be a lot of fun over the next couple of months here.
You've got Yasiel Puig against Will Myers, the natural rookie versus rookie. You've got the former Rays Carl Crawford, who was the franchise for all that time, the always fun-loving J.P. Howe.
Blocked by Posey. Curveball in the dirt. It's 1-2. Yeah, you're right. The Rays have a 2-game stop in Arizona and then 3 against the Dodgers on the next trip. Lobatone has scored the run in this game. A move to first, and Escobar back easily this time.
There was an article in today's San Francisco Chronicle about what the Giants have to play for, and right at the top of the list was just knocking the Dodgers down as many times as they could.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Swing and a miss. Lobaton after the high fastball behind in the count. Strikeout number 6 for Bumgarner.
That's what Bumgarner can do because of the angle he comes out. See that lefty, a little bit lower angle, and the ball just seems to ride. I know it doesn't based on gravity, but it seems to ride on hitters, and a lot of times he gets that swing and the miss on a pitch that's above the strike zone.
Yeah, the scientists will tell you that that ball can't rise. There's no way. And it's just the illusion of what your expectation is. But it certainly looks like it rides, doesn't it? Roberts fouls this one straight back into the upper deck. Just above us, how to play. Ryan Roberts in his 4th stint with the Rays got credit for a bunt single in the 3rd when the Rays scored the only run of the game so far. This Archer, young right-hander, doing the pitching for the Rays tonight. Oh, 2. Every time we see Archer, he's moving.
Yeah, constantly in motion.
He is emotionally involved in every game. Foul ball back. An 0-2 fastball, and he liked the general location of that one. Had a good cut.
Yeah, Bumgarner didn't throw the pitch where he wanted. 0-2. I like the contrast between Archer with his first complete game after Desmond made that catch to end up the game against the Astros, and then his last one where it looked like he was ready to go crazy at Yankee Stadium, and he's just calmed himself down, thinking, all right, I got to keep everything in check.
Yeah, he just about had that pogo stick move going, and then aborted it at the last moment, just before blastoff.
And it's not something the Rays want him to be as emotional as he wants to be and show that on the field to the extent where it does not show up the other team. So they, a couple situations there, that Boston's game early in the season where maybe he overamped it a little bit.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and the interesting thing about that, he's a humble kid. There's nothing about showing up the other team that's connected with that behavior, but it can be misconstrued that way. And so for his own good now and down the road, the Rays would say, take it easy, relax, take a nap. The 1-2. And Roberts out on strikes, missed the slider. Rays leave a man, and we go to the 5th. 1-0 Tampa Bay.
Bay, our own rookie, Will Myers, is making a splash of his own. In fact, the Rays PR group put together this stat comparison very eerily similar heading into today's game. Since Myers was called up on June 18th, both are batting .331. Both have 7 homers, about the same in Swipe bags. But take a look at Myers and RBIs. 13 more runs batted in for him. We have an interesting rookie showdown looming, Dwayne and Todd, as Tampa Bay heads to LA to face the Dodgers in just about a week.
Just another reason that series is going to be so much fun out there at Dodger Stadium. We go to the 5th. Let's call in Todd.
Dwayne, thank you. It's Roger Kieschnick at the plate, and Chris Archer's first pitch to him misses outside, 1-0. Kieschnick playing in just his 3rd big league game, made his debut in Philadelphia on Wednesday. Got a start in that game, making his 2nd start of his big league career. This ball's hit well to right field, but in comes Will Myers, and he'll make the play, and there's one away. Seems like Myers is getting better jumps on balls as he gets more and more comfortable here at Tropicana Field.
Yeah, and that fastball from Archer had a nice little move in, and Kieschnick had to pull the hands in just a little bit that kept him from hitting that ball any harder than he did. It's that late movement on the fastball that was around 93.
Hunter Pence hit one of the harder hit balls of the night against Chris Archer. His first time up, he lined out to the shortstop, Yunel Escobar. Pence lined to short. Gregor Blanco lined to center, and Marco Scudero lined to right. Other than that, a base hit by Brandon Belt was hit pretty well. And that's the lone hit allowed to this point by Archer. Misses low and away. It's 2-0. Hunter Pence was happy to have the trade deadline come and go, as he was amongst the hottest topics in the San Francisco clubhouse for a possible trade, as he fouls one off heading into his free agent year. Hunter loves playing in San Francisco, so he was happy to stay here for the rest of the year, and he could very well be here in the future too if he signs with them in the offseason. 2-1 on Hunter Pence. Checks, says Joe West. 3-1. Rays lead it 1-0. 3rd inning run for Tampa Bay against Madison Bumgarner. 1-0 was the same score the last time Chris Archer pitched at Yankee Stadium. Here's a good breaking ball for a called strike. Had Pence backing up. It's 3-2.
You know, this is a great matchup from the bundle of energy perspective too.
Yeah.
To watch Archer out there, and then to watch Pence and the gyrations he goes through during an at bat.
On the ground, 3 hops to Escobar. Sidearm throw. There's 2 away.
All right, kids, enjoy your last few weeks of summer and come play where the Rays play. At the Rays Summer Baseball Camp, you can create your own moments by hitting at home plate just like Evan Longoria, or pitching from the mound like Matt Moore. Just 2 weeks remain. To register, go to raysbaseball.com/camps.
Saw Matt Moore in the clubhouse today. He and his good buddy Alex Cobb on similar paths in terms of when they may come back to the active roster. That's right now best case scenario, and the plan right now is at the end of the road trip out west. Here's a ball sent deep to right field. Will Myers going back and looking up, and this is gone. Brandon Belt, with his 11th home run of the year, has tied this game at 1.
I think Archer tried to get a first pitch changeup by him, and Belt did exactly that. He belted that high changeup, and just like that, the game is tied. You can see the grip in the glove right there, and the changeup stayed out over the plate, and Belt hits it out of here.
Belt with a couple of base hits tonight, the only 2 hits allowed by Archer, and that one tied the game. See Chris frustrated with the location of that pitch. Here's Brandon Crawford.
Trying to recall if we had seen another changeup. He's been really fastball slider, and And that changeup has been the third pitch. And if you break out the two fastballs, four-seam, two-seam, really the fourth pitch for him.
Yeah, and during this stretch, he hasn't thrown a lot of changeups. He does get the fly ball to left field there to end the inning. Brought to you by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Visit your Honda dealer for great lease and finance deals on fuel-efficient Hondas. By Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. When cancer strikes, strike back with CyberKnife, available at Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. And by Checkers. Checkers, feast on. Rays touch tank here at Tropicana Field. 1-1 ball game. A little interleague baseball. The Giants in town for the first time since 2004. As Desmond Jennings, top of the order, will lead things off for the Rays against Madison Bumgarner and takes a pitch for a ball, 1-0. Jennings has struggled tonight against Bumgarner, struck out twice, swinging. 2 of the 7 strikeouts for the lefty who turned 24 yesterday. Way outside, 2-0.
Bumgarner got ahead of him in the third inning and got him to chase a fastball up.
Chops that slider foul, 2 balls and a strike.
God, we've had a couple scoreless inning streaks come to an end tonight. That home run by Belt stops Archer's at 18. Bumgarner came in with a 14-inning scoreless streak, and that was ended at 60.
I think you're right about that changeup too, how unusual it was. Hey, Dexter Jackson, Super Bowl MVP in the house. On the weekend when Warren Sapp, his teammate, goes into Canton's Pro Football Hall of Fame. 3-1 pitch, Desmond buns, and what a beauty. Forget about this. That is what you like to see out of Desmond Jennings. Up in the count, and he's not afraid to lay a bunt down to start the inning.
Yeah, and we've started to see that more from Desmond. There was an emphasis this spring on bunting in the Rays camp, and as that sometimes happens, the emphasis sort of died out for a little while. But now, here's another bunt hit by Jennings, and all of a sudden he has 4 bunt singles, and a nice job putting this one down. Ahead in the count, and no chance for Arias at third to throw out Jennings.
I like the mindset too, because you're ahead of the count, which normally means you're going to get a decent pitch to hit. But Desmond knows he was having trouble against this guy. First time he's faced him, he struck out twice. And he wasn't afraid to go ahead and, in a hitter's count, put the ball down on the ground, and that was just perfectly placed. There's no chance for a third baseman.
And now Zobrist, who twice has gone to right field, and he has a big spot open on the right side of the infield with Belt holding Jennings.
Saw a quick shot there of Joe Madden and Will Myers. Ball inside on Zobrist, ahead of the count 2-0. Joe said that Will sees a lot of things in the game that most people don't realize. That this guy is a really big-time student of baseball. And Joe's really been impressed with his baseball acumen. He didn't know he noticed all these little nuances in the game that maybe rookies or even veterans wouldn't pick up.
And as big a prospect as Myers has been, and then bursting upon the major league scene with this great start, he is sort of a low-key kid, and he likes it that way. He pays attention to the game. He knows he's here to play the game. That's the way he's always played it.
4-pitch walk to Ben Zobrist. There have been 3 4-pitch walks in this game. Zobrist, Will Myers, and Sean Rodriguez. Those are the only walks issued by Bumgarner. Kind of unusual that all of a sudden 4-pitch walk when he doesn't walk anybody else. Hey, you know you're low-key, Dwayne, if you don't brush your hair for the entire season.
Yeah. No cut, no comb.
It's an easy way to pack. You don't need hair care products or combs or brushes. Yeah. We'll be singing Inside the Rays later on this year about that kid, Will Myers. Kelly Nash and the producers were up there in Thomasville, North Carolina, while the Rays were on their recent road trip. We'll get to hear from his family and those who grew up watching the Rays right fielder. Here's Evan Longoria. Longoria takes a called strike, 0-1. Evan has flied to center field on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball and then struck out swinging his last time up, chasing a slider that was below the knees on a 3-2 pitch. Swings through that slider, 0-2. Desmond Jennings with a bunt single. He's on second. Ben Zobrist with a 4-pitch walk. He's on first. Giants tied the game in the top half of this inning on Brandon Belt's 11th home run of the year. It came on a changeup from Chris Archer. Gardner ahead 0-2. Tries to get Longoria to chase, and he doesn't. It's 1-2. Longoria goes down swinging. That's strikeout number 8 for Bumgarner.
And for the second straight time, he gets him on the slider. This one moving in just a little more of a cut to it than a full-fledged slider there. And Evan is 0 for 3.
Looking for answers. That's 7 straight games where Evan has had a multi-strikeout game, and 9 of his last 10. This is not what we're accustomed to seeing from the Rays' third baseman. So first and second now with 1 down, Will Myers. You feel bad for the opposing pitching once Evan figures it out. But right now, it's just one of those stretches of the season. Will is grounded out and walked. Rays with runners on first and second, 1 out, and a 1-1 tie. We're in the bottom half of the 5th. Good job holding off on that fastball away and high. It's 1-1.
You can see by Bumgarner's delivery how he could get some late movement on that fastball. And we've seen a couple where he's gotten the tailing action on it.
miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, there's where that slider comes into play. It's a great pitch for him to throw when he's behind in the count. He'll throw it 3-2. That's one of the reasons opponents are hitting only 185 against him with a full count.
39% of the time he threw the slider last year. This year, 38.8% of the time. Most in Major League Baseball among starters. Away, it's 2-2. Where Bumgarner went to high school, South Caldwell High School, baseball powerhouse. Part of the 2007 state championship team. And then it was the 08 and 09 teams that had players on it that Will Myers would play baseball with during the off season. Some guys who went to North Carolina from South Caldwell. Here's the pitch. In the air, deep to center field. Back goes Blanco. Still going back, and he makes the one-hand catch right in front of the wall and straightaway center. Well tagged, and a nice play by the Giants center fielder.
And the runners are still at first and second. There's a case where on a long fly ball like that, Jennings went about 2/3 of the way between second and third, because his responsibility as a base runner is to score here if the catch is not made. Catch is made, and the Rays will have runners still at first and second. But watch Desmond. With 2 outs, you may as well be at second as opposed to third, because you want to score in that situation.
Yeah, good look at it right there. Getting to third base with 2 outs is not going to be that advantageous. This guy's not wild. He's not liable to bounce one in the third to score you. So you've got to make sure you score if that ball's not caught. Will flipped that bat away. I'm not sure if he thought he caught it or not, but he's learning quickly that straightaway center field is not an easy place to leave the yard at Tropicana Field.
Even though the first time he did here, he left and then some to center field.
That's why it was so impressive. First AB here. Oh yeah. Let's take it over the boards in center where not many people go, off the Batter's Eye restaurant, which is now the Everglades Barbecue restaurant. Here you see 404, but the ball just, it doesn't carry that well straight away. Those corners out in left center field, right center field, the Rays touchdown have only had 2 balls go in there in 16 years. Rodriguez fouls it away. Sean down to the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That pitch was up, maybe out of the zone up, but he liked the general location, but had just a little late movement on the slider, and he fouled it.
So after an initial bunt by Desmond Jennings and a walk to Ben Zobrist, Bumgarner trying to work out of trouble here in the bottom of the 5th. Got Evan Longoria strike to swing at a 3rd strike, and Will Myers hit that deep fly ball for the 2nd out. Now 1-2 on Rodriguez. Line drive right field, but it's hanging up for Hunter Pence, who puts it away. Pretty well hit. But that's the final out of the inning. So 2 men left on base after 2 were on to start the inning. It's 1-1.
struggles continue, but Joe Maddon sees better days ahead. He's not overly concerned.
I think he's just in a classic the slump situation. I know he's going to overcome it. I really appreciate, and I told him how well he's played defense through this entire moment. He has not let up an inch on the defensive side of the ball, and that's a tribute to his just wanting to win. But the hitting will come back.
That's a comforting thought, because you know it will come back. He's 0 for his last 13 right now. There are a lot of hits to come.
The 8 strikeouts during that stretch. Highly unusual for Evan Longoria. That's been a frustrating stretch for him, and it has been comforting to him as Joaquin Arias will lead off the top half of the 6th inning, fakes a bunt, takes a pitch high. It has been comforting to him to know that this team can play well and have a record-setting month when he's not at the top of his game. It's 21-5 record in the month of July when Evan hit below 200. Archer misses the inside corner, 2-0, and he'll get a quick trip from Jose Lobaton.
Yeah, that's almost like having a big stack of money in the bank. You haven't touched it yet. You're living fine.
Yeah.
You know, you
haven't need to worry about taking that money out yet.
That's
You've
right.
got it in reserve.
And you know it's there when you need it, and that's the situation. Evan Longoria is money in the bank.
And he will work as hard as it's humanly possible to get out of this situation. He is, in general, one of the first people to the ballpark and one of the last ones to leave. Always working on honing his craft. And right now, you know, the off day probably helped, but he and Joe Maddon were checking out some videos and talking about where his hands were during his swing, just trying to figure out where things could be based on where he was in the past when he was going well. 4-pitch walk issued by Chris Archer to start the 6th inning.
Yeah, and that's been one of his strengths through this late run of excellence he's had. You know, you go back over what he's done in terms of walks in the last 4 or 5 outings, and only one of the 4 starts had he even walked anyone.
Yeah, this year the walks have come in bunches when he's allowed them. He'll give you those 3 out of 4 where he won't walk anybody, but then he'll have the game in Toronto where he walks 3, and others prior to that where he walks 3 or 4. Leadoff walk to Arias, checks him at first base. That's his 2nd walk issued tonight to go along with the 2 hits. Both hits tonight by Brandon Belt, a left-handed hitter. Archer has been lethal against right-hand hitters during this good run. 4 for 50 with just 4 singles in his last 4 starts plus 5 innings tonight. It's an 080 average, by the way. Pitch to Blanco is outside, and the 6th inning has started with 5 pitches outside of the strike zone from Chris Archer.
How about this in the game too, Todd? 5 walks, 2 by Archer, 3 by Bumgarner, and all 5 have come on 4 pitches.
Bizarre. You see his pitch count in much better order than Bumgarner. Started the inning with 63 pitches after 5. Bumgarner has thrown 90 through 5. But all the walks on 4 pitch walks, highly unusual as Gregor Blanco takes a strike, 1-1. There is Madison Bumgarner with those 90 pitches thus far, 52 strikes, 38 out of the zone. Archer coming off a record-setting month of July. No rookie had ever, since records were kept for rookies in 1920, had ever gone this entire month of July with an ERA as low as Chris Archer at 0.73. Also the lowest Rays ERA of any month in 16 years of franchise play. There's a strike of the knees, 1-2. Tonight, just one changeup that was up a little bit that Brandon Belt did exactly that. Belted it out to right to tie the game at 1. On the ground, Maloney goes to second for 1. Escobar's relay in time for the double play. Giants don't agree with the call over at first base, but Loney with the great turn with help from Escobar in the middle.
Well, again, a double play helps Archer. The first double play after he walked Posey, and the second was a strike him out, throw him out. And here's a look at this one. Close play at first with Blanco getting down the line, taking him a look at it from this angle. Chris Archer helping Joe West with a call over there on a 3-6-3 double play.
Former pitcher in high school was James Loney. Went to high school in the Houston area, and he uses that strong left arm to throw just very accurate feeds to second base.
Yeah, there were a couple of teams actually seriously considered him as a pitching prospect. I think Pittsburgh was one of them.
Yeah, he said that more teams scouted him as a pitcher than a hitter.
Yep.
That the Dodgers were one of just 2 that scouted him strictly as a hitter. That's guy could throw the ball in high school. And he has told Joe Madden about his high school ERA a couple of times, just in case Joe gets in one of those lopsided games. He wants Joe to know that he can toe the rubber. And I don't think Joe's going to go there. 1-1 the count to Marco Scutaro, who is grounded out in line to right. That pitch just misses. 2-1, close.
Arizona has taken a 6-4 lead in the top of the 5th on Boston. Cody Ross 3 for 3. Prado and Ross teamed up with a couple of doubles to make it 5-4. Kubel with an RBI single, making it 6-4, and Lester's out of the game.
I'm sure Cody Ross is enjoying playing against his former team at Fenway. 2-2 the count to Scutaro. A walk erased by a double play. Archer has thrown 75 pitches. The 2-2 fouled away. I turned that game off last night when it was 7-1.
A lot of people did.
The Red Sox Mariners game.
Yep.
Wow, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, people said, hey, good news.
Felix was on the mound.
Yeah.
Life was good. Countdown's Rays had gone to sleep. Everything looked good. 2-2 pitch. Again fouled away. Scutaro always a tough at bat. He'll battle. All-star this year, Marco Scutaro. Dealing with some nagging injuries here and there, but coming into the game leading the team in hitting, 7th in the league at .314. Slider misses. It's 3-2. Archer to this point, 2 walks, 2 hits allowed. Chris has only struck out 2. Part of the process recently with Archer getting so pitch efficient as he hasn't picked up big strikeout numbers in 3 of the last 4 starts. At 2-1 and 6 against the Yankees last time. There's ball 4, first walk that wasn't a 4-pitch walk in this game. Archer's 3rd walk issued, 2nd this inning. Not a bad idea to go with the slider 3-2, but he didn't entice him enough. That pitch was too low that Scutaro didn't chase. Now Archer against Pablo Sandoval. Sandoval taking some big rips in his first 2 ABs against Archer. Has grounded to 3rd and popped up. That ball's ripped but foul.
Well, Archer started him back in the 1st inning with a fastball and finished him with a fastball. But that time at 93, Sandoval was ready for the fastball. In fact, out in front of that 93-mile-per-hour fastball.
Chase is there. He's not happy with himself. Nothing at 2. Big rip at the plate.
Well, this one was up out of the zone and at 96 versus 93. Tough to get on top of that one, even for Sandoval. He's not happy with himself.
See if Archer tries to climb the ladder again like he did the first inning. Ahead 0-2. Lobaton wants it up. It is up, but he doesn't chase. Last year's MVP waits on deck. Giants have only left one runner in the game through 5 innings. Runner on first, 2 outs. Archer with the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball to second. Then Zobrist. And we head to the bottom of the 6th. All tied at 1. Rays will have Yunel Escobar, James Loney, and Jose Lobaton when we come back. As we head to the bottom half of the 6th inning, both pitchers have been outstanding tonight. We thought it would be a pretty good pitcher's duel. Has lived up to it. Chris Archer has allowed 1 run on 2 hits. Madison Bumgarner has allowed 1 run on 6 hits. And for the Rays, it was Ben Zobrist getting the team on the board with his RBI single. That made it 1-0, and then Brandon Bell tied the game in the 5th inning. Rays scored the 3rd, Giants scored in the 5th, and that's where we stand as we head to the bottom half of inning 6. Bumgarner starts the inning with 90 pitches. He threw a season-high 116 in his last start against the Cubs. Lasted 8 innings in that game. Escobar takes a called strike, 0-1. Yunel reached on an infield hit his last time up, hit a line drive off the glove of Bumgarner. And Yunel has also struck out 1 of 8 strikeouts in the game. The lefty delivers 2 big hops to the shortstop, Brandon Crawford, and the UCLA product throws out Escobar for the first out here in inning 6.
The Rays have worked him for 22 pitches in each of the last 2 innings. So 44 of the 90 pitches through 5 came in the 4th and 5th innings. But only 2 pitches here to get Escobar in the 6th.
It would be highly unusual to get Bumgarner out before the 7th. Go all the way back to his start against Atlanta, which was 8 starts ago. He went 7 innings every game for 7 straight starts, and then last game against the Cubs he threw in an extra inning and went 8. That's consistency. No more than 3 runs in any of those games allowed. Here's Loney, tried to hold up, but he went around, says home plate umpire Andy Fletcher, 0-1. Bumgarner, in addition to his great numbers overall against the opposition, allowing lefties to hit right around 150, 158 to start the game against lefties. That includes 45 strikeouts and only 5 walks, a 9-to-1 ratio. He is close to unhittable against lefties this year. Although the few hits lefties have, they have been able to hit the ball out of the park against them 5 times. Loney fouls it away. James coming into this game, having faced the Giants and their pitching staff more than anybody else on the Rays, as you would imagine. Tomorrow's starter is Tim Lincecum, and Loney has 44 official at-bats against him. Against Bumgarner, he's now 2 for 12 with his 0 for 2 tonight. Stays alive. Changing the plans for the Giants, too. Sunday, they initially listed Barry Zito as their starter, and then there was some doubt whether he would get the start. Bruce Bochy has elected to go to the righty, Guillermo Moscoso, instead. Zito, for now, is in the Giants' bullpen. 1-2 pitch is away, 2-2. They've been getting good starting pitch. I mean, Zito's had his rough spots, but other than him, they've been getting pretty good starting pitching. Their bullpen hasn't been taxed much at all in the last week or two. Bumgarner, the most consistent starter this year for San Francisco. And here's the 2-2 offering to Loney. Breaking ball, and he goes down swinging. 9 strikeouts for Madison.
We haven't seen the curveball a lot, but it's effective here on the 2-2. He got Loney looking on a curveball back in the second, so he's used that twice on him and has strikeouts each time.
That is his pitch that he'll break out to lefties more, and it has worked twice against Loney tonight. Ground ball foul from Jose Lobaton. Lobaton doubled his first time up and then struck out his last time. The one guy who's been able to solve Bumgarner to this point has been Ben Zobrist, a couple of hits and a walk. Rays have 6 hits. Pops in the air towards the third base side, and it's drift out of play right by the Giants dugout. Lobaton down in the count, 0-2. Bumgarner wants to continue his stretch of consecutive starts with at least 7 innings. He's doing a nice job in this inning thus far. Only 10 pitches needed, and he's 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning. Check to swing. It doesn't matter. No, he did go around. So that'll do it. 1, 2, 3 innings. We're up to 10 double digits now for the strikeout column for Madison Bumgarner. We're tied at 1.
The 7th inning, the Rays and the Giants starting the series. You know, it was such a great month for the Rays, not only the best in franchise history, one of the best historically in Major League history. I asked Joe Maddon today, after a 21-5 month, what do you do for an encore?
I'll take 22-4. How many days are in August? Just the one day at a time stuff, man. I think that was really a strong point of ours during the month. Prior to the break and then post-break, really pleased with just the daily way of the group. I mean, the way we've gone about our business, the way they've played the game, the way they've interacted, all that stuff has been fabulous to watch.
Joe pointed out that he was very happy the way the schedule set up, and they had a day off coming off not only that month, but off the big road trip, then the short homestand, and then that lackluster performance in the final game against the Diamondbacks. Dwayne, Todd.
All right, Barry, thank you. You see Chris Archer right there to take us the rest of the way. Once again, Dwayne Stats.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. Buster Posey will lead off for the Giants. Kieschnick and then Pence to follow. 83 pitches for Chris Archer, and the first pitch chopped to Evan Longoria at third. His throw to Loney on the money. So the Rays hit the big bat of Buster Posey, retire him here in the 7th inning.
There's Lego toys somewhere in Tropicana Field.
Yeah, this is not a kid's Sunday, it's a kid's Friday.
That's an extensive set to bring to a ball game. That's not just a couple of toys. You got a whole city there.
Roger Kieschnick. He struck out, hit a fly ball into right. Archer got a fastball in on him and lifted it into not too deep right. Drops this one in there, a slider for a strike to get ahead of him. Archer hurt on the changeup to Brandon Belt in the 5th inning. Gave up 2 hits in his last outing against the Yankees. And one of those came on a changeup to Lyle Overback. 1-1.
I'd like to pay closer attention to each at bat like Kieschnick, but I keep getting distracted by the guy on deck. Hunter Pence.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just really bizarre. He just always catches at the corner of your eye.
1-2. He is a ball of energy and has his own physical presence about him.
I mean, those practice swings, you're not sure if he's ready to hit a baseball or go on the driving range. That's not even what he normally does. He'll do those really wild.
Yeah, this will really distract you from the guy at the plate
exactly.
now. Cut the miss. Kieschnick strikes out on the fastball. 96. 2 up and 2 down.
Archer's pitch efficiency continues to be outstanding. There you see a good look at that 2-seam fastball as he grips it across the seams, going parallel with the seams, and that ball just has a nice tailing action to it. And Kieschnick tried to stay alive with 2 strikes unsuccessfully.
So 2 gone, and here is Hunter Pence. He chops it third base side. That's going to be a base hit. Longoria can do nothing more than pick it up, and Pence is aboard with a 2-out single.
Another thing about Pence, he plays so hard, he has good speed, and he busts out of the batter's box. And once that ball chopped on the ground, no chance for Longoria, unfortunately.
I also found out that Hunter, when he was a child, competed in power tumbling, and at the age of 9 was the Texas State power tumbling champion. There was a lot of flipping and jumping going on between the ages of 5 and 10, and it could have been a precursor to what we see in his approach to playing this game, because he's active all the time on deck, in the dugout, in the field.
His parents must have just brought him to the event unbeknownst to him and just said, be yourself, and then he wins power tumbling.
Yeah, he's a state champ.
Yeah, just do your normal routine, whatever that might be, and next thing you know, he's flipping around and winning titles. Good for him.
Belt 2 for 2 with a single in addition to the home run.
You know, that was only the 5th single or 5th base hit by a right-hand hitter against Archer in his last 5 starts.
That's amazing.
And they've all been singles, and that was just a little infield tap right there.
Here's the other thing. Pence can and will run. A move to first. He might have been thinking about it there. Starting to lengthen that lead a little bit, and Archer almost had him leaning the wrong way.
Pence hasn't been caught this year.
Yeah, he's 15 of 15.
Best in the big leagues.
One and one to count. Belt jumped on the first pitch changeup in the 5th inning, a 2-out solo home run to tie the game and snap a streak of 18 scoreless innings for Chris Archer. Archer keeps an eye on Pence. The Giants not a big running team, coming in with just 48 steals for the year. But Pence has 15 of them. Archer behind Belt, 2-1. Belt played his college ball at the University of Texas. He was part of the team that went to the College World Series in 2009. Shoots it deep to center field. Jennings, a long run. That's going to be over his head. Bound against the wall. Pence will score. Belt heads for 3, and he will make it. A 3-base hit to deep center field as San Francisco takes a 2-1 lead. Again, Belt with 2 outs assesses the damage. This time with a long one to center field. A triple, making it 2-1.
Belt's really locked in against Archer. That's a pretty good pitch down around the knees, and he went down and got it. There's a series in Philadelphia they just finished where Belt didn't start any of those games, so he's had some time to sit on the bench and get ready for the start tonight. Pence scores easily as Belt gets to 3rd. There's only been 4 hits tonight allowed by Archer, and Belt's got 3/4 of them.
His 2nd triple of the year. He has a single, a homer, and a triple. So he needs a double to complete the cycle, and the Rays will just as soon not face him again. Here's Brandon Crawford. Crawford hits one a long way. Deep to right, and that one is gone. First pitch fastball, and Brandon Crawford has hit a 2-run shot. That will give San Francisco a 4-1 lead. Suddenly, after 2 men had been retired, and then the infield hit by Pence, Belt triples, and on the first pitch, Crawford hits a 2-run home run.
That's how quickly it can get away from you. There you see the fastball inner half, and Crawford puts a nice swing on it, puts it about 4 rows deep over the wall in right field. Myers gave it a look. Rays still don't have any bullpen action. This inning has escalated in a hurry.
Arias, fastball is high.
Shows you how quickly it can get away. A little chopping infield single.
That kept the inning going. 1-1. a span of 5 pitches after that infield hit, the Giants have taken a 4-1 lead. Base hit through the hole by Arias. That's 4 straight hits with 2 men out.
Joe's not going to have a choice soon. He's going to have to get to the phone and call down to the bullpen and get somebody up. I mean, this inning is getting away from Chris Archer. He was cruising along with 83 pitches coming into this inning, and even before that only 63 through 5, and had a 20-pitch 6th inning, and now this inning he's thrown 14 pitches, and most of them have been hit hard lately.
So Arias at 97 pitches. Jim Hickey goes out to spend some time on the mound. There is some minor stirring in the bullpen right now.
Kyle Farnsworth usually gets his stretching in below underneath the right field stands there, and that's who they were calling on. At least one of the two.
Ramos taking off the jacket. Gregor Blanco, the top of the order, about to step in for San Francisco. Pitch misses. Now the Giants have not been a power-laden team, but Belt and Crawford have hit home runs. They came in 14th in the National League in home runs with just 65, but they've hit 2 tonight. 2-0 the count to Blanco. Ramos and Farnsworth getting ready in the bullpen. It's a strike. 2-1.
Yeah, they just barely cleared 100 home runs last year. Last in the NL, 103, I believe, last season. See that pitch count, Dwayne, the last 2 innings, a bit elevated.
Two and two.
Mentioned when the Giants score 4, they're in good shape. They have a 37-11 record when they score 4. That shows you where their pitching just has been keeping them in games all year long.
Runner goes. Good jump and a roller toward Longoria. Tough play. Not going to be in time. And boy, Loney had a difficult time coming up with that one with his momentum back. So that's a base hit. Arias moves to second. And Blanco is aboard on a base hit, an infield hit.
Nothing more frustrating for Chris Archer than what he's dealt with at the start and now the tail end of this rally as we stand here is just making your pitch, getting very minimal contact, and the Giants, Hunter Pence and Gregor Blanco putting the ball in perfect spots, just not hitting the ball hard enough to hit into an out.
Well, he has not given up more than 5 hits in an outing since he gave up 6 in a win against the Yankees back on the 23rd of June. He's given up 5 straight hits here in this inning with 2 outs. That's how unusual this is. Now here's Marco Scutaro. The pitch is too low. Scutaro laying off the slider. Archer at 103 pitches right now. 12 his single game high. It's 2-0. 212 when he shut out Houston on 5 hits on July the 14th.
I think that this might be his last batter either way with Pablo Sandoval on deck. He's thrown a lot of pitches this inning. above 100. I would think he either gets him here at his last pitch or he gets on base and still his last pitch.
There's a strike. It's 2-1. Check swing. There's a foul ball. Scutaro did not want to make contact there. It's 2-2.
All right, big pitch coming up here for Chris. If he can keep this a 3-run game, Rays still with 3 shots at it. You don't want to get any further beyond 4-1.
2-2. He jams him and pops it up foul. He had 96 left in reserve there. 2-2, and Scutaro fouls it.
Nice to see. 107th pitch of the game, bringing 96 when you need it.
How about that? Plus 95, 40. And a foul ball. And another one. That one at 96.
See Scutaro, he's a battler up there. He drew a walk last time after battling Archer. He saw the fastball and then the 2-seamer. Maybe he set up for the slider here.
We're in the 7th here. Swing and a miss. He strikes him out at 97. But the triple by Brandon Belt chased home Hunter Pence. That broke a 1-1 tie. And then Brandon Crawford belted a fastball out of here to make it 4-1 San Francisco. Fans taking their 7th inning stretch. They're down 4-1. Ryan Roberts leads it off. And he takes the pitch outside. Rays retired by Madison Bumgarner. 1-2-3 in the 6th. Roberts got credit for a bunt single in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. There's a line drive up the left field side. Base hit. Roberts will make the turn and hold it first with a single. And let's see if that's the start of something for the Rays in the home half of the 7th.
Ryan Roberts, like James Loney, used to be a part of the NL West, so he's seen these guys before. Gets a pretty good fastball to hit. Sends it over Arias' head into left field.
Desmond Jennings swings through the slider, strike one. Desmond bunted his way on in the 5th inning. That opened that inning, and Zobrist followed with a walk. But Bumgarner retired Longoria, Myers, and Rodriguez to leave those 2 base runners aboard for the Rays. Now, after giving up the leadoff hit to Roberts, Bumgarner's ahead of Jennings, 2 strikes. Santiago Casilla up in the bullpen for San Francisco. And Jennings missed the high fastball. He's out on strikes for the 3rd time tonight. Here's the strikeout pitch.
Yeah, he's been able to elevate on Desmond tonight. Desmond has swung through 3 of those of the 11 strikeouts. You can see pretty close to the zone, but probably a little up. Desmond not able to catch up with it.
11 strikeouts, 3 walks. He's given up a run on 7 hits. And here's Ben Zobrist. High fly ball into left off the bat of Zobrist. Kieschnick, though, a few steps in front of the track. Makes the catch. 2 gone.
Didn't miss it by much, but the timing was thrown off just a bit with that changeup. Ben hunting for a first pitch fastball, got the changeup and didn't quite get all of it.
Jake McGee in the bullpen along with Cesar Ramos. Evan Longoria about to step in. Evan 0 for 3 tonight. Takes one inside. Cody Ross has another hit for the Diamondbacks, a home run. The Red Sox had tied it at 6-6 at Fenway on a Stephen Drew home run. And Cody Ross has just hit a home run for the Diamondbacks to make it 7-6 Arizona. Game's in the top of the 7th. We're in the bottom of the 7th here at the Trop. One. 2 balls and a strike to Evan.
If you didn't know any better, you would think the Red Sox are intentionally trying to set it up for a walk-off. It's just how they've been rolling lately. Unbelievable.
Goldschmidt and Ross have homered for the Diamondbacks. Ortiz and Drew for Boston. That takes the count to 2-2 on Evan.
Again, that's the pitch normally ahead of the count that Evan will feast on when things are going well. 2-1 hitters count.
Well, Cody Ross is paying back the Red Sox. He's 4 for 4. He scored 2 runs, hit a home run. He's driven in 3 and has a stolen base. Down to 3rd, deep. Arias to Scutaro for the forced play at 2nd on Roberts to retire the side. We go to the 8th, 4-1 San Francisco. 4-1. We're through 7 onto the 8th with the Giants leading the Rays. San Francisco coming into bat here, and Cesar Ramos is the new Rays pitcher. Chris Archer worked 7 innings, allowing 4 earned runs total, 7 hits, 4 strikeouts, and 3 walks. Pablo Sandoval, the ground ball back, bobbled by Roberts, but he recovers and flips to first. Sandoval is out, number 1. Buster Posey due up. Let's take a look at the AT&T social media poll. Tweet your votes to @SunSportsRays. Who's the best catcher in baseball? TB1 Buster Posey, TB2 Yadier Molina, TB3 Joe Mauer, TB4 Matt Wieters, TB5 another one of your choice. That's our Twitter poll of the night. Posey takes a fastball from Ramos for a strike.
Pretty good choices. I think you can make an argument for almost any of those 4.
You'd take any of those 4
Heartbeat.
for sure. Line drive base hit into center. Posey has his first hit on for the 2nd time tonight. The young man from Florida State aboard. Kyle Farnsworth stays busy in the bullpen. Neck 0 for 3, a couple strikeouts, and in between, fly ball to right. Foul out of play. Giants have hit 2 home runs tonight. As we mentioned, they have not been a big home run hitting team. In fact, when you compare over the last couple of years, since the beginning of 2012, the Orioles have hit more home runs than anybody, 357, followed by the Yankees and the Blue Jays at 336 and 334. The Rays are 9th in that tabulation in the major leagues with 294.
So the top 3 teams since 2012 all in the AL East.
AL East, that's right. And the Rays would be 9th and Boston 14th. So there's American League East.
There you go. Which makes it even more amazing what the Rays pitching staff has done.
Absolutely. You are absolutely right about that. Swing and a miss. Keichner got on strikes. So a strikeout from Cesar Ramos. Now Hunter Pence will be up there. He's due. And Joe Maddon's out of the dugout following the strikeout by Ramos of the left-handed hitter. Farnsworth ready in the bullpen. Time for the Metro PCS call to the bullpen. With 2 outs here at Tropicana Field. 20,144 here tonight. And Kyle Farnsworth is on to face Hunter Pence.
37th game of the season for Kyle. 2-0. You see that ERA, 5.46. Throwing a lot of sinkers this year. And 4-seamer, slider, and cutter in addition.
Cut and a miss by Pence. Strike 1.
Pence is a reminder to Chris Archer about the fine line between an outstanding outing and how one can get away a little bit like it did tonight.
Yep, he got the 2-out infield hit that led to a 3-run inning in the 7th. This ball rolling behind Lobaton. Posey could not pick that up right away, and the count is 1-1. Posey remains at first. Talk about all the home runs hit in the American League East. The Giants, since the start of 2012, have hit 168 home runs, which puts them last in the major leagues. 32 fewer than the Marlins, who are 29th since then. So the Marlins have out-homered them by 32 since the start of 2012.
And they don't live and die by the long ball. Tonight they have.
Yeah, they have 2 tonight, including 1 by Brandon Belt. Foul ball. So the count is still 1-2. Belt, by the way, who's on deck, is a double away from hitting for the cycle. He got the tough one in the 7th, the triple. He homered in the 5th. Crawford, Brandon Crawford, homered in the 7th. Fly ball into right center. Says Myers back all the way to the track with that carry. He makes the catch. No runs, a hit with 1 left. Will Myers will lead off the bottom of the 8th for the Rays, who trail 4-1. We're back at the Trop. We're just going to watch this for a while.
It is a first Friday in St. Petersburg. Usually a lot of fun things happening on first Fridays around town.
Time to get back to the action on the field. Will Myers leads off against Santiago Casilla. 7 innings for the starter, Madison Bumgarner. 1 run, 7 hit baseball. He struck out 11 and walked 3. Turns it over to Casilla.
Casilla has had a great year, 4-2 with a 1.48 ERA, appearing in his 28th game. Used to be
the first pitch is a strike to Myers.
Used to be with the A's. He'll throw a 4-seamer, 2-seamer, slider, and a curveball. He used to throw a changeup when he was with Oakland, but he's kind of shelved that since becoming a Giant.
Fly ball, center field. Blanco coming in, full speed ahead, and he makes the catch, reaching down on the slide. And Myers is retired. That's the first out in the 8th.
Blanco's made a couple of nice plays against Will Myers tonight. That ball hit deep to center field. He made a nice play on the one-hand catch right in front of the wall. And this is not easy, going to the backhand with the slide. Sometimes that can jar your head a little bit, and Casilla was happy about that play by his center fielder.
Luke Scott will come off the Rays bench to hit for Sean Rodriguez. Rays trail by 3 runs. We're in the 8th. Strike 1. The home run by Ross. All the Diamondbacks got in the 7th. You see the Rays bullpen busy. McGee and Wright. Boston batting in the bottom of the 7th inning. 7-6 Arizona. J.J. Putz in the game now for Arizona. Back to the hill. Casilla with the toss to first, and Scott is out number 2. Marlins shut out Cleveland 10-0, and Jose Fernandez wins his 8th. He's 8-5. He gave up 3 hits, struck out 14 in 8 innings tonight.
Wow. Alonzo High School, rejoice.
Yes, it will.
That's amazing. His year has been really unbelievable.
Yep. 8 shutout innings, 14 strikeouts, 3 hits. High. His earned run average is 254 now.
Well, here's the company he's in with OPS, on base percentage plus slugging percentage. Top 4 in the major leagues in reverse order. The guy who pitched tonight, Madison Bumgarner, we saw what he can do. Fernandez is 3rd. Then you've got Matt Harvey 2nd and Clayton Kershaw 1st. Pretty good company.
Yeah.
How about that? I'm glad we don't see Bumgarner on a regular basis in this league.
Yeah,
that guy's
absolutely.
tough. He is tough. Another 7 innings. He just keeps throwing 7 innings every start. 8 last one.
That was just a bonus for Bruce Bochy and Dave Righetti. 3-0 the count to Escobar. Escobar had a base hit in the 4th inning. Not much doing for the Rays. They scored their run on 3 hits and left the bases loaded in the 3rd. Ground ball headed to Crawford, the shortstop. And the Rays are up and down 1-2-3. We're headed into the 9th with the score 4-1 San Francisco. Join the team with Rays season tickets. Get the best seats, biggest savings, and exclusive benefits throughout the year. Reserve your seats now by calling 888-FAN-RAYS or visiting RaysBaseball.com. And help David Price continue his hot streak by cheering him from District K9 Sunday. It'll be August 4th when he takes on the Giants. Your District K9 ticket includes a lower level seat, a K card, and an official District K9 t-shirt. For tickets, visit RaysBaseball.com/District K9. Luke Scott stays on to play left field for the Rays.
Bring your gloves if you're in District K9. That line drive was by Pablo Sandoval earlier today. He got out on the fastball. That was right in the District 9 section. So bring your gloves tomorrow when Price is on the mound.
Jamie Wright, the new pitcher for the Rays, and he faces Brandon Belt. Ball, no strikes. One. Belt singled in the third. He homered in the fifth and tripled in the seventh. He's driven in 2 runs. He scored 2 and a ground ball out to Zobrist. Zobrist throws him out. 1 away in the 9th inning. The Rays have 1 shot left. They're down by 3 right now. Brandon Crawford, his 2-run home run, had it a 1-run lead and made it 3. Ground ball. Cutting in on Crawford, and he grounds out to Zobrist.
Yeah, nice pitch by Jamie, getting in on the hands of Crawford there for the weak ground out. Rays will probably see Javier Lopez for the first batter against James Loney. They have double barrel action. They have the lefty Javier Lopez and their closer Sergio Romo. So I would think Lopez is up for Loney and then Romo for the rest of the inning if they don't start the inning with Sergio.
Joaquin Arias. 1-0 the count. It's a peek into the Giants bullpen. Romo the right-hander, Lopez the lefty. Romo's got stripes of his own going. One and one. Archer works 7. Chris charged with 4 runs, 7 hits. Cesar Ramos 2/3. Farnsworth the 3rd, and now Jamie Wright. Two and one.
Archer's been getting the tough assignment the last couple of starts. Ivan Nova. Last time the Rays managed 1 run against Nova in Yankee Stadium, and tonight just 1 run against Bumgarner.
Ooh, there's a strike call. Nice pitch on the corner.
Nicely received by Lobaton too. He's gotten much better at that, framing pitches, learning from the master Jose Molina.
Full count. Two ground ball outs, and now full count. Rays will have Loney to lead off, then Lobaton and Roberts due up.
And Romo hasn't been lights out the last week or so. He did get out of a bases loaded no out jam last night for the save.
Into right. Will Myers makes the catch. A 1-2-3 ninth for Wright. Bottom of the ninth coming, 4-1 San Francisco.
To the defending World Series champs, and join us tomorrow for Game 2. Action starts at 6:30 for Rays Live, presented by our Gulf Coast Honda dealers. We have a little Cy Young square dance tomorrow. Two-time Cy Young winner Tim Lincecum against our reigning Cy, David Price, will also feature Price during a mentoring initiative of his, part of the Rays Dugout program. And of course, tonight after the final out, Rays Live, the post game, presented by Checkers. Barry and Orestes will be steering the ship tonight with a breakdown by Todd and Dwayne. And I would like to see those Rally Rays come out and play tonight, guys, so I can get those happy clubhouse interviews.
Well, we'll see what the bottom of the ninth inning holds for the Rays. They need 3 to keep it going and a 4-run inning to send us all home. In regulation time, Javier Lopez will be the new pitcher. He's on to face James Loney, and we'll see what happens beyond that with Romo continuing to loosen in the bullpen. Loney's going to be lifted, and Jose Molina will bat in the place of Loney against the left-hander Lopez. Lopez, a severe left-hander.
You saw the splits. He has that skinny ERA of 1.42, just dominates against lefties. Joe has an extra guy on the bench now with Matt Moore going on the DL and being replaced by Ryan Roberts. So he's not afraid to use Molina here, knowing he can pinch run for him, not afraid to burn 2 players for 1 spot in this situation.
Molina looks at a strike. It's 1-1.
I know Loney's been good on lefties this year, but to face Bumgarner for 3 at-bats and now this guy would have been a tough task even for that guy, James Loney.
Popper, shallow left, Crawford out. Coming in is Keeshnick, but the shortstop Crawford makes the catch. And that's going to be the first out here in the ninth. Jose Lobaton now the hitter. Lobaton scored the run for the Rays after a leadoff double in the 3rd. Eventually scored on a base hit by Zobrist. One and 0 the count. Two and 0.
Lopez with that skinny 1.42 ERA doesn't have a save this year. Usually he is a lefty who faces a lot of lefties. Only one earned run in his last 33 outings.
That's a foul ball, and just foul. Rob Drake on the call. Lobaton just missing an extra base hit.
Take another look as Jose Lobaton bids for his second double of the game and missed it by that much.
Two and two.
That's just a nasty sweeping slider right there. He's got the two-seamer, he's got the slider, basically sinker slider guy, and that is just a big breaking slider that he uses a lot against lefties, but as you can see right there, not afraid to throw it to a righty either.
Slider into left. That's got some sink on it. Will skip by Kashnick and roll all the way to the wall. Lobaton around second, heads for third, and he's going to make it. Lobaton with 3 bases on the sinking line drive. That's his first triple.
First major league triple. We know he gets ice cream for home runs. Maybe he should get some sherbet for a triple. He was moving along those bases after the risk taken out in left field by Roger Kashnick. You can see he goes for the diving catch. It goes under his glove and all the way to the wall. Picking him up and putting him down with the high stirrups.
Lobaton digging hard all the way to third. Pitching change coming. The Metro PCS call to the bullpen. First 3-base hit. Sergio Romo, the new pitcher. 25 of 29 in save opportunities. And Matt Joyce will pinch hit for Ryan Roberts. Shift on for Joyce. And the first pitch is a slider in there for a strike. That's the baby slider.
Ooh, he's got some unbelievable movement with his slider. You're right, that's not his best, but that's still pretty significant.
Drops low. 1-1.
Saw his record of 3-6. 2 of those losses came last weekend against the Cubs. Lost the game Friday night and Saturday night, back-to-back nights. Hadn't pitched since then until last night when he saved the game against the Phillies.
And that was not an easy task. Joyce throwing off the slider. 1-2.
He throws a slider over half of his pitches, does Romo, but he throws it a ton to righties. 70% compared to about 29% to lefties, but he's shown it a couple of times to Matt Joyce.
That fouls this one away. A ball, 2 strikes. He got out of the bases loaded jam to pick up his 25th save over the Phillies. Giants scored 2 in the top of the 9th.
Error by Arias, then he slipped on a bunt. Then a hit batsman, bases loaded, nobody out, gets 2 shallow fly balls and a ground out fielder's choice to end it.
Very wide. 2-2.
This team strikes me as a team that's very difficult to see for just one time a season. Bumgarner, nasty lefty. You've got Lincecum, who can be very tough to pick up. You've got this guy. He's got the sweeping slider closing games. Not an easy team to face just once in a while.
And now the count's full. This is a slider, 3-2 on Joyce with Lobaton at third base and 1 out. Rays need another base runner to get the potential tying run to the plate. And it's popped up on the infield, a 3-2 slider, and the shortstop Crawford makes the catch. Well, 2 gone. So the Rays down to their final out. Desmond Jennings due up, but Kelly Johnson will pinch hit for him. Johnson has faced Romo before. He's 2 out of 4 against him.
The last 4 times up, a couple of base hits and a walk. He's also been hit by a pitch by Romo, so Kelly's had some success getting on base against this guy.
Pitch is high. Well, you'd love to see Johnson get on, because that would bring Zobrist up, who's never faced him, but he would then represent the potential tying run. Two 2-0 the count.
And I would think Romo would be very careful if Ben was the hitter with that slider, because when Ben can get that low and inside pitch that he golfs to right field, he could tie it with one swing.
All 3. So it's 3-0. Lopez got the first out, gave up the triple on the sinking line drive to left by Lobaton. Romo got Joyce on a pop. Now 3-0 to Kelly Johnson. And he throws him a strike.
That was borderline. That could have been called ball 4. The fans here thought it was low. That's down.
Look at that.
That is down.
The 3-1. And he drops that slider in there at 77 for strike 2. Now the count is full. Full count, 2 outs. Romo to Johnson. Kelly fouls it back. Fastball around 86. Romo took over the closing role during the second half last year. It was in late August. 3-2 and a liner into center, but it's going to hang up and be caught by Blanco to end the game. A line drive off the bat of Johnson, and the San Francisco Giants have taken the first game of this series. It's a 4-1 final. Rays going to triple and leave a man in the ninth inning. We'll be back to wrap it in a moment.